Um, Hi everyone. Welcome to this International Day of Happiness Global Webinar Dialogue. And as we will know, is tomorrow the International Day of Happiness. But today we want to present the UNESCO Happy Schools and Design for Change in Action pilot that we did. And for this, I'm going to ask Shariha if you can put your camera. And right now I don't see people, so I don't like this, but this is yeah. Are you there, Shariha? Because I don't see you.
Oh, yes, I am. Yeah.
Great. So this is a great moment, no? Because we work a lot in order to have this webinar to present. Is why I put the shirt that it was in the picture. I thought, okay, it's a good moment to share things that are important for us, no? So yeah, thank you so much for inviting us to be part of this project. No, I think it was great. And I don't know if you want to say something, and then we will pass to Tim, so he allows us to connect with ourselves in order to start with this webinar.
Sure. Well, firstly, I want to say thank you to you, Miguel, Bia, and the organizing committee from DFC Spain, as well as my team from DFC Malaysia and UNESCO, Sonia and Sebla. Super happy to be part of this conversation. I'm Shariha, and I am founder of DFC in Malaysia, also founding trustee of Collaborative World, a foundation dedicated to collaborative impact. And yeah, it's been a really interesting journey with the UNESCO Happy Schools. We're very pleased that there are so many of you in this conversation today. Many of you have been part of the pilot that we carried out from 2024 until middle of last year in 8 countries around the world, and from which we had data collected through the research study from our amazing research partners, Carmen representing here the UCJC from Spain, who collected data from 5 countries. And so we're going to be sharing and hearing from all the parties involved, including schools and teachers who are also involved, about what their experience was in trying to build an enabling environment for happy schools, in their respective countries. And not just about sharing experiences, but really what were the lessons learned, what really worked, what didn't work, how did children react to this opportunity? And particularly what's also interesting is just understanding from the perspective of design for change. And I know, Miguel, it might be worthwhile just going into a few lines about what design for change is about, because there might be some participants.
We will have time for this. There is a little bit ahead.
Yeah, some participants who might never have experienced the magic of DFC and FIDS. Yeah, but on my side, I just wanted to say that we're now at the cusp of what we call a really important moment in student-led and how can I say leadership in the space of happiness and well-being. But at the same time, it's about leveling the playing field for everybody by using this international framework, this international methodology for creating projects, and being part of a community of those who are actually doing this at the forefront, tackling a very important topic right now, which affects all of us. Mental health and well-being is not something that's only for people with mental health challenges. It's important that we create the environment for everyone to be happy. So that was why we were very keen on hosting this webinar just around the time of the International Day of Happiness, because we want to recognize the efforts of those who've been part of the pilot, but also recognize the importance of us not stopping here with the end of the pilot, but thinking about what's the next way forward. How do we bring this to more children, more schools around the world? And that's right. What we're going to be covering in today's discussion. So thank you very much. And back over to you, Miguel.
Great. Thank you so much. So I think when we heard about happiness, then for me, it came to one country, and this is Bhutan, no? So I'm pleased to present Tim from Design for Bhutan, that he's going to allow us like to connect, no? The way you used to start your meetings, celebration, or everything. Thank you so much, Tim, for being here today with us.
Great. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Shariha. So I'm calling in from Bhutan, which is this little country known for gross national happiness, its gross national happiness philosophy. And I'm just going to invite us, as Miguel was saying, in Bhutan, we start many of our gatherings at Design for Change Bhutan with a little mindful moment. So this is a little mindful reflection activity that will help us connect to ourselves as it relates to happiness. So I'm going to just invite you, wherever you are, in whatever context, just to get into a nice, just kind of relaxed position in your chair, just loosening your shoulders, your jaw, your chest, anywhere that maybe you notice your body is a little tense. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes if it's possible for you to do that. But if it's not, that's completely fine as well. Whatever environment you're in, even if there's noise, that's completely okay. But just to take a moment, just to connect with yourself. And as you really come into your body, just noticing how you're feeling today, seeing what emotion might be here. Maybe you've had a pleasant day. Maybe there's some happy emotions. Maybe you've had a challenging day. Maybe you've just started your day. But just seeing what emotion or emotions are alive within you. And just allowing them to be there. And as you settle into your body, again, just relaxing, there's nothing to do. And I'm just going to invite you to take a couple of deep breaths. Just noticing every time you breathe in and out. And just seeing if you can relax even more deeply. Just a few deep breaths, a couple of nice deep breaths. Just relaxing the body, relaxing the mind. And as you just arrive, I'm going to invite you now to see if you can bring to mind someone or something that brings you happiness or joy. This can be a person in your life, a family member, a child. You can just bring them to mind. Somebody who really cares for you, perhaps, maybe even your dog or your cat. You can also bring to mind maybe a place or a memory that also brings you happiness or joy. And just to really feel the warmth of that, and to just feel some sense of connection to what it is that brings us happiness. And just taking one more deep breath, and just as we come into this webinar, bringing that with you in whatever small way. So I'll just invite you now. You can wiggle your fingers, toes, you can come back. And thank you just for trying that on for size, a little reflection activity. for
Thank you so
happiness.
much. Thank you so much, Tim. As Kiran always says, no, not by chance, by design. So how to create the condition that now that we are going to go deeper to this pilot in happiness is more grounded, no? So thank you so much for sharing this with us. And now I'm going to revise quickly the agenda that we have. So we are in the welcome and opening remarks with a little delay, but it's okay. Then we will see the Happy School framework, and we are going to see it deeper with Sonia. Then we are going to have the report that has been created, and at the same time, we are going, as Shariha mentioned, we are going to see some of the examples that the projects that happened during the pilot, and also to listen some of the teachers. Not sure that we will have much more time to interact with them, but almost we have one question for them. And then we will have a dialogue around what happened, no? And the closing. And I remember the start with the what if schools become hubs for happiness, driving well-being for communities and the planet, no? So I think was like the what if, the key question. And as you were mentioning, I think the great thing that we did in this pilot is to combine two international frameworks, no? One is the Happy Schools from UNESCO that Sonia is going to present us with the 4 pillars, and also FEEDS, no? Design for Change. So this movement that started in India with the origin in 2001 with the schools, Riverside School, 2009 started the movement that brings the light to the children and what they can do, no? With this methodology, inspiring design thinking, feel, imagine, do, and share. We have the chance to have 8 countries at the beginning of the pilot. Finally, we were only able to find the stories from 4 of them. So thank you so much to partners and schools from Bhutan, Malaysia, Spain, Serbia, Kenya, UAE, and Lebanon and Zambia. It was great to have this process, and it's just highlighted the ones that were able to reach until the end of the pilot. So now I give you the floor, Sonia, Education Program Specialist from UNESCO. So I'm going to stop sharing, and it's up to you to present the framework. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be here today.
Thank you, everyone, for inviting UNESCO to make this presentation. I will quickly share my screen. Please stop me if you see that you no longer see my screen, or if you don't hear me. You may go ahead and stop me. So if I don't hear anything from you, it means I'm good. So today I will talk about our Global Happy Schools initiative, which is the framework that you were just referring to. I will begin with just a brief history of this work. Actually, this Global Happy Schools initiative began with the Happy Schools project in our Asia Pacific field office. And it began with 3 pillars: people, process, and place. As a result of the environment where students were becoming disengaged from school, they were very stressed going to school. There was a large focus on high-stakes exams. Teachers were overwhelmed and overworked. Students were feeling overwhelmed. And so school became very stressful, and it was no longer a happy place to go. So our Asia Pacific office thought there could be a better way for schools to be, and thought schools need to be a place where students want to be and where they have opportunities to be happy. And so what you can see on the screen is how our Happy Schools framework initially began with the pillars of people, process, and place. I won't go into these.
Sonia,
yes?
Some of the attendants ask if you can speak slowly, because English is, even if it's common for everyone, if you can speak a little bit slower, it will be easier to understand for everyone. Thank you so much.
Sure. No problem. Sorry, I will slow down. That was about 10 years ago. And if we look at the world today, we see that actually we have what we're calling a global learning crisis in learning and well-being. Currently, our latest statistics from UNESCO in 2025 show that we have about 272 million children and youth out of school for various reasons, but also because children are disengaging from school and dropping out. And it's no reason that the World Bank estimated that 70% of 10-year-olds in low and middle income countries cannot read and understand a basic text. So this is important because if by this age children aren't learning to read, it sort of sets a negative path for them going forward. And in fact, we see in the PISA scores that since the first cycle in 2000, the latest scores in 2022 show that the reading scores have fallen by 2.6%. And similarly, the math and science scores have fallen by 2.2% since they were initially implemented. And it's not just about school children. Young people and adults around the world, a total of 739 million globally, estimated in 2025, lack basic literacy and numeracy skills. And this is a result of the fact that they either could not have attended education, or they attended and dropped out, or they received a poor quality education. And sadly, 2/3 of these women are women. In 2024, the ILO estimated that 1 in 5 young people are neither in employment, education, or training for various reasons. But again, this usually happens when people have not benefited from learning for various reasons, and maybe because they have dropped out of school. In terms of the crisis and well-being, the WHO estimated that 1 in 7 adolescents between 10 and 19 experience a mental health disorder, and UNESCO estimated that 1 in 3 learners worldwide is bullied every month. So as you can see, we have a lot of problems with schooling that is impacting children's learning and well-being. And on top of all that, we have a global shortage of teachers, which has been estimated that we will need about 50 million more teachers to have 100% universal pre-primary, primary, and secondary education before 2030, which is one of our SDG 4 goals. So these crises that we see in learning and well-being in our schools actually are a reflection of our societies. And currently our societies are in multiple transitions. So we are experiencing a big change in our climate and biodiversity, where there's a promotion to move more towards a green economy and green transition, but this is very difficult to do, and people are very concerned about the future of our climate. Our labor markets are changing. There's an increasing job and skills mismatch. A lot of industry has changed since COVID-19, and some of these sectors have not gone back to normal. And there's a larger informal economy that is taking place. We also see a large technological change affecting our industries and the labor market. There's increasing use of artificial intelligence that is putting people out of work. Schools have to adapt, and they don't know how to adapt. We have demographic shifts where there's been changing in the differences between the increasing youth and in some parts of the world, aging populations in other parts of the world. There's migration, there's displacement. All of this is showing that our societies are changing and are in different transition phases. And on top of it all, we see a lot of political crises with rising extremism and polarization, and most recently a rise in violence and conflict in our worlds. So all of this is happening at a societal level, but it is reflected in our schools. And this is what we see. This is what children have to live through, and this is what they have to experience in their formative years. In fact, in 2022, because of these crises, our UN Secretary General, convened a global summit called the Transforming Education Summit, calling together global leaders from all over the world to focus on education because of these crises. And the conclusion, I guess, from these discussions or from the Director General was that our schools need to change, and that the schools of the future, they might be formal or informal, they not be sitting in the structural buildings that we are familiar with. They might be more virtual, but they have to evolve to these futures to take account of the societal changes that are happening. But they still need to remain places that are inclusive, safe, healthy, and stimulating places to learn. And we've introduced the word happy to fit with our Happy Schools movement that we are promoting and that you are all very familiar with. So having said that, today I will talk to you a little bit about our global Happy Schools framework, which has evolved from this original framework from our Asia Pacific region of having 3 pillars, and now that has a 4th pillar on principles. And you will see that these now 4 pillars that are decomposed into 12 overarching criterion. And then within these, we have sub-criterion that further explore the different concepts in our framework. And what I will show you now is a video. Before I show you a video, I will explain a little bit more about the foundations of this Happy Schools framework. So before we go into the details of the pillars and the 12 criteria and sub-criterion, a little bit about the underpinnings of the foundations of this framework. First, we have our philosophical foundations around education, where for a long time, philosophers have debated about what is the purpose of education, and that education should be about life and about what the purpose of life should be. They've also looked at education as something that needs to be about socialization and flourishing of the person and whole person development. In the normative foundation of our framework stems from one of the core functions of UNESCO. So, for example, UNESCO works towards the right to education for all. We support countries to implement the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. We also have a convention against discrimination in education. We have a recommendation on education for peace and human rights, among many others, by the way. And of course, most recently, our Global 2030 Agenda, our Sustainable Development Goals 3 and 4, which are directly related to health, well-being, and education. So these are 2 foundations of our framework. Also importantly, our framework
Sonia,
has...
Just to be aware of the time, you have 5 minutes, if it's possible to end. Okay,
yes.
yeah.
I've been trying to slow down, so I will speed up. So also, our framework has scientific foundations based on, in particular, what we call the science of learning, showing how the human brains learn. We know that people learn through socially interactive and engaging pedagogies that are happy. This is based on a lot of evidence. And also a lot of evidence showing the importance of positive relationships that lead to well-being that is a contributor to happiness. So having said that, I will show you a video of a few minutes that explains the framework in more detail.
If I asked you to imagine a happy school, what would come to your mind? What would the building look like? The interior, the exterior? Who would be there? What would they be doing? You might see a teacher smiling, hear students laughing, feel a hug from a friend, smell fresh air, eat a tasty meal. Now, ask yourself, Whether you're a student, a teacher, a parent, or any other member of the school community, does your actual school look like this? At UNESCO, we believe that happy school environments can help improve teaching, learning, and our overall well-being. It's not just our belief, it's science. We know that the human brain learns best through active, collaborative, and joyful learning and teaching techniques. We also know that we learn best when we feel supported and encouraged. So why do so many of our schools look like rote learning and competitive testing, stressful workloads for teachers and students, bullying, and boredom? We want to change this. We want to help students, teachers, school leaders, and decision makers around the world to create happy schools together. At UNESCO, we have an idea of what a happy school could look like. Let's break it into 4 pillars: people, process, place, and principles. People is all about respectful relationships based on communication and collaboration between students, teachers, families, school principals, and staff. A sense of safety, appreciation, and belonging for all, no violence or bullying. And positive attitudes, growth mindsets, and motivation for teaching and learning. Process is all about having a manageable workload that includes a range of subjects and skills, including social, emotional, artistic, and cultural expression. Active and collaborative learning experiences that cultivate your curiosity. And opportunities to show your abilities more than once in exams, with opportunities for feedback and celebration of your achievement. Place is all about safe and healthy facilities. Classrooms designed in ways that help you learn and make you feel represented. And your school involving your family and community in activities and events. Finally, principles is all about values, trust, inclusion, and empowerment. So let me ask you again, what would your happy school look like? UNESCO has tools to help your school community work together to create happier environments for better educational experiences and outcomes.
So if I can take just a couple more minutes to end, I wanted to say that our Happy Schools framework is being implemented in several places, for example, Portugal, Yemen, and Vietnam, and is continuing to be implemented. Most recently, we have operationalized our Happy Schools framework into a diagnostic toolkit, which is a school-level questionnaire for students, school leaders, teachers, and parents. And it's not meant to be an assessment or a ranking of schools. It's not meant to measure individual happiness or prescribe happiness. It's really, it's a 20-minute online questionnaire that these 4 groups of stakeholders can respond to on a voluntary basis to take a look at how their school aligns with our Happy Schools framework. And we invite schools to connect with us if they would like to use this toolkit. In return, what we will be able to do is provide school with a school-level diagnostic report that gives them the aggregate scores across these 12 dimensions. Schools can also benefit from a dissemination workshop where we will share the results and invite the school leadership team to reflect on the findings and identify priorities for creating what could be a Happy Schools improvement plan. And optionally, we can provide technical support with integrating a Happy Schools approach in education policy and teacher professional development. And we welcome schools to reach out to us if they are interested. I would also like to say that our Happy Schools report is now available in 4 languages: English, French, Arabic, and Vietnamese. And that is it for me. These are links to additional resources, and there's an email there if you would like to stay in touch. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the following discussion.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for sharing with us this. Where does it come from, the Happy Schools framework, and what is the future? No? So thank you so much. And in the video, it was the world we believe, no? And I think this defines very well what is design for change, where we believe every child can design a better world today. So we are part of a movement in more than 70 countries. And now what we are going to do is to go to the report, no? But before giving, no, I'm going to share, sorry. I forget about sharing. It's because now I can see when it's, yeah, that's what. So here it is. So now we are going to go deeper in the Happy Schools and Design for Change Global Pilot. We will have Carmen Sanchez Ufcharsorov, Professional and Pedagogical Director of Learning Camilo José Cela University from Spain. But before she started to explain the report, we are going to see some of the examples of the projects that we did. No? So is why I'm going to present the project from the school Nuestra Señora de la Consolación de Villacañas, Toledo, and then we will see Sergio García Díaz, who is the teacher who lead the project, sharing smiles. But first, we are going to see the video. But let me check that I put the yes, we can listen the audio. Okay. We see. Perfect. So, okay. Sorry. So now I will invite Sergio, if you can join. That's right. So Sergio, thank you so much for being part of this pilot, for all the energy and time you put in the project and in your day-to-day, no? And now I'm going to ask you one question, because there are people that say, okay, but you are not explaining what is design for change, but now we are going to focus on something that I think is relevant. No? If you had to explain to other schools why combining design for change and UNESCO Happy Schools framework makes a difference, what would you say to them?
Hello. DFC provides a clear methodology vision, feel, imagine, do, and share, which empowers students to be protagonists of change. On the other hand, Happy School focuses on something essential, how people feel at the school. It addresses emotional climate. It creates the environment where learning truly flourishes. When you combine them, the students do wonderful things. Wellbeing becomes an engine of transformation. A school goes from being spaces where teaching happens to place, where the world around us is live, felt, and improved. Finally, A school culture is generated where student voices truly matter and have an impact. Thank you, Miguel. Together we can.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I have the joy to be in your school twice, and it was always amazing. And I hope to be able to visit very soon again. Thank you so much, Sergio, for sharing the project and sharing your experience. And now I'm going to pass the floor to Carmen, but I'm going to present. So you can share with us what it was the report. I love the reaction about your intervention, Sergio. This is for you. And now, Carmen, that's right. This is for you now.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miguel, and thank you for the team with we worked, Beatriz and Sharija and Naum, all the team with we worked. It was really a pleasure and a challenge to take part of this pilot and to design and to conduct this study, this research. We were a team of 3 researchers: Ángel Vicario, Teresita Bernal, and myself, and we are very happy to do this study and to present the results. The objective of this pilot was to foster holistic happiness within schools by implementing UNESCO Happy Schools framework with the 4 or at least one of the pillars, with a central focus on empowering through design for change methodology students and make them an active agents in promoting well-being and positive learning environments in order to foster this sense of happiness at the school. Our research goal was mainly to empower students to take active roles in creating positive school environments, supporting the development of their capacity to directly influence their learning spaces and communities. So then they can transform and lead the transformation of their schools and broader community into a happy school and more and happier community. The methodology we used was a pre-experimental design with an intervention and post-test, because the starting point of the schools was very different. We have an heterogeneous implementation of the pillars. Some schools addressed 1 pillar, another 2, another 3 or 4. And we use a mixed methods approach with an online questionnaire with a qualitative and quantitative part. The quantitative part was a Likert scale survey, and the qualitative part with qualitative part is with have an open-ended questions. Next slide, please, Miguel. The structure of the questionnaire. Here, as we saw with Sonia, we have the Happy Schools global framework. We developed this questionnaire from the pillars and from the I forgot the word, sorry, because I don't see the criteria. We analyzed all the criteria, and we formulated 23 and 31 items or questions for teacher and students respectively. From the first pillar, people, 16 for the processes, 15 and 13 for place, and 9 and 10 for principles. And then we add 3 open-ended questions the qualitative items that you can read here. The first one was oriented to the activities and projects that the students and teachers did. And the second one, we asked to write a note to a friend explaining the 3 things that they enjoy the most at school. And then, and this is, I think, it's the most important, we asked to to tell three aspects that the school should improve, no, after this pilot. So next, please, Miguel, because I was trying to pass myself the slide.
Yeah. And the only thing is we are quite late, so if we...
Yes, I will try to be.
Thank you. So...
yeah, I don't want to read all the things. I will highlight that for the pillar of people, we have the biggest gap between teacher and students, 94% and 79% of agreement on the developing of the criteria of this pillar. For processes, we have 99 and 86. Next, if you want, yes. For place, this was very interesting because we have an agreement between teacher and students that were around 84% about the place. It was not only the physical place, but also the emotional and digital learning environments. The place in a bigger sense. And for principals, we have teachers agreement with 98% and students 86%. I think we can share this presentation later and the people so you can read it. About the qualitative data, also based on this framework, we saw that students, for people, for example, students and teachers consistently emphasize strong interpersonal relation and emotional connections. In processes, we have the importance of engaging in meaningful activities, hands-on activities also, no? And collaborative activities. With play, in the place we have clean, inclusive, resource-rich environments and inspiring learning places. And for principals, we see teachers and highlighting diversity, leadership practices grounded in compassion, equity, and the students reported feelings of empowerment and when their voices were heard. This is very, very important in this methodology and the framework of Happy Schools. Next one. And the word cloud that we generated with all the qualitative data we gather from, not only from questionnaire, but also from the narratives, describing the experiences, activities made in this project, the most frequently occurring terms was student, the first one, student, then school, project, teacher, friend, work, make, experience. I mean, you can see it also. And this represents the aggregated responses from all the participants, 145 teachers and 145 students and 20 teachers, 165.
This part of
by now it's all.
Yeah, that's right. We divided in two parts the presentation of the report. Now we are going to see another example from Zambia in this case. So I invite Passion to come with me in the stage. Yes, so you can present the project from Zambia. One of them, because you were the country with more schools and projects presented. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miguel, for this opportunity. Are you able to get me? Are you able to get me?
Yes, we can hear you, Madam Patience.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. As you can see, according to the numbers, Zambia was one of the countries with the highest numbers. We had 5 schools, and out of these 5 schools, we had Zach Secondary School all the way from Northwestern Province, which gave
It seems we have some problems with the connection.
Yeah, her connection is poor, she told me.
Yeah.
So, the video.
Okay, we are going to share the project so we can see what happened in this school, and then I hope we can have her again or almost Linda in order to share what happened in the project. So here we are.
Hello. I'm so sorry, it's raining heavily.
Yeah, Passion, we are seeing the project and then you can present Linda. Okay, so this was the project. Passion, I don't know if you can connect once again, or Linda. So I'm going to ask you one question. If you can answer me, I hope we will have good connection. What specific moment you feel here the students are taking charge of their learning and well-being thanks to Design for Change and UNESCO Happy Schools framework? Which was this moment that you felt that they take the lead on this, please? Can you share with us?
Thank you. Good afternoon, team.
Now we
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear, but we cannot see you.
Okay.
We can hear you. Now we can see you and not hear. So if you can unmute yourself.
I think the host can also unmute Miguel.
That's okay. Linda. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much. Being a teacher of English, one of the specific moments that made me realize to see children are taking part in this change is whenever we had the reading comprehension sessions, we had some pupils who could not read, who could hardly read out any word. And so we saw it to be important to come up with catch-up activities which would make the learners learn how to read even when they are in that particular grade.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for all the effort you did when you have all the problems around. So thank you so much, Linda.
Sure.
And now I'm afraid of the time. We are very late. So Carmen, I don't know because we have like one more example and then a conversation. So I don't know if we can reduce the second part of the presentation because we are going to share the presentation and the report of all the attendance to this webinar. So what do you think? What can we do?
We can pass the slides quickly, so don't worry. Yes,
perfect.
Because they are very visual.
Okay, so here we are.
Okay, here you can by yourself see the scores and the percentages and the happiness score global was of 3.49 over 5 and corresponding to 69.8%. So we were almost in consolidated stage, but not yet. And here we have the scores. Okay, yes, don't worry, Miguel. But we also in addition we analyzed the items related to happiness in the questionnaire. And here we have another result for happiness. you see the value is very, very different, 86%. This suggests, I think it's an interesting point, that directly asking about happiness is not the same that exploring specific aspects or dimensions that make people feel happy. So we think here's the difference between this with this gap that we have of perception. If you want to, we see a big improvement in empowerment. A very, very big teacher felt 95% empowered and students 86. So it's I think it's a very big achievement for this project. And if you want, yes. Next step for schools, we can take it from one of the open-ended questions, the 3 aspects that your school should improve to enjoy the learning processes and be more happy. So here you have the words we need for the pillar of people: more empathy, inclusion, mental health, peer relationship; for processes, active learning, student agency, hands-on projects; for place, infrastructures, cleanliness, accessibility, digital tools, inclusive. I think the word inclusive is very often in this analysis. And principles, we need fairness, inclusion, student participation, anti-discrimination, respect, freedom of expression, ethical values, and recognition. I think the pillar 4, the principles, it's like an overview of all that we need for make the school and the people and the place and the processes more human, and so we can be happier. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carmen. And now it was supposed to be now I'm going to invite Sydney, if you can present the project from UI, please.
Thank you, Miguel. And to those of you who are looking forward to seeing Lakshmi speak, I'm sorry I'm disappointing you, but Lakshmi called me this afternoon and asked me to introduce the project, so that's why I'm here. My name is Sydney. I'm the Associate Principal at Nargis School, GEMS Modern Academy in Dubai. It's ironic that we're talking about happiness and we're in the part of the world where, schools are really reflecting on what does happiness really mean to children, especially in this part of the world and countries around this region at the moment. I won't talk about the project in detail. The video you'll see is self-explanatory, but I will say that we just want to acknowledge the support from UCJC, from Sharia and Miguel in particular, from all the colleagues we've reached out to over the course of the pilot. It's been interesting. Coincidentally, we ran into Miss Farida Budan from the UNESCO at a different meeting and realized that she was involved in the framework conceptualization also, and we had the opportunity to talk to her about the work that we do. But this project is really close to our heart. It's led by Anika, who you'll meet after the video. Anika is a former pupil of the school, a former head girl of the school, so who better to understand student sentiment than her? And she's done an excellent job. This is not a one-time thing. We are definitely looking forward to sustaining it and seeing the impact it has. So with that, I'm going to just go into the video and then have Anika answer the questions.
Thank you so much, Sydney. I'm going to share the video.
Hello, I'm Anika Jisu, the Happy Schools Program Coordinator at GEMS Modern Academy in Dubai. At GEMS Modern, we didn't just ask what makes a school happy, we built our answer. Grounded in the UNESCO Happy Schools Framework's 3 pillars, people, process, and principles, and powered by the FIDS model from Design for Change, we created a program that puts students at the center of their own growth. We started with the UNESCO principles of trust, inclusion, and empowerment. In the FIDS model, this is the field stage, listening carefully before acting. Through needs assessments, data triangulation, and student conversations, our grade 8 students map the academic, social, and emotional landscape of their grade 6 and 7 juniors, identifying who needed support and in what areas. This became the foundation for everything that followed. Building on these insights, the Imagine and Do stages brought our people pillar to life. Grade 8 students were trained as peer mentors and matched with mentees based on skill strengths and personal interests, fostering the supportive and collaborative relationships. Through structured weekly sessions, parent updates, and educator guidance, mentees were given a consistent space to grow academically, socially, and emotionally. Our process pillar and the share stage of FIDS is where the work speaks for itself. Sessions were designed around curiosity-led and personalized pedagogies, with mentors co-designing the learning experience alongside their mentees. Progress was celebrated through constructive feedback and self-reflection. From 98% of mentors reporting leadership growth to 91% of mentees feeling more confident and connected, every single student moved forward academically and personally. Students didn't just perform better, they felt seen and they belonged. This program is now embedded in our school culture and ready to scale. We offer it to the UNESCO community with one conviction. When students feel trusted and empowered, they don't just learn better, they lead. Thank you.
Oops. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. Now that we listen to you, Anika, here you are. So I would like to ask you, because you mentioned at the end of the video, no, if you have to summarize in one sentence, and I'm going to try really one sentence, how this experience has transformed the well-being in your school. What would be this sentence?
Thank you, Miguel. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us here today. Miguel, I'm going to just ask for 2 sentences. I'm going to really try to capture this essence. So at GEMS Modern, or should I start by saying that this experience actually reiterated something we had always believed at GEMS Modern Academy, that well-being isn't something that you deliver to students, rather it's something you create with them. And when our students felt trusted, included, and empowered, happiness stopped being a goal that we changed, rather it became a culture our students built together. 2 sentences, that's from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anika. Thank you so much. Now, it's time to close, but I would like to ask if we have like 10 more minutes, and because we have an amazing panel with us, and I would like to be able to ask almost one question to all of them. So I will invite Kiran Bilsetti, the founder of Design for Change, Carmen, once again, Sonia and Sariha, and we are going to change what it was supposed, because we don't have time to do all we wanted. But if you can jump with me, because Beatriz is going to highlight all of you. This is the first time we do with so many people, so I hope it's going to work. Let's see if technological aspect allows us to do this. We are putting Zoom in stress. Also, Beatriz, thank you so much, Bea, for being with the technical part. And it's just Carmen that we are missing. And here we are. So thank you so much for joining this panel. And having all of you here, for me, the key element is to have these 2 initiatives together. No? So from there, I will ask you, what do you highlight when you connect with you have seen, heard, or known? What is the keyword that comes to you in order to be able to show to the world that this is something that we need to be focused on? So, and I ask you openly, and you can say whatever you think.
I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. I find that there's the focus on happiness should have always been the reason schools, should have built their foundations on. And I think now, since it's becoming a conversation, it is, I feel that the Feel, Imagine, Do, Share that Design for Change had brought to the world like 15 years ago is really the framework. And I think UNESCO provides the environment under which the framework actually is activated. I believe that the UNESCO sort of nomenclature of people, I would say purpose instead of principles, process and place really are the conditions. You provide these conditions, and then the Feel, Imagine, Do, Share framework allows children to really take that agency. And there's so much research to say when children do, they feel, empowered. And that doing part is, I think, reflective with the feel and imagine. So I feel it's wonderful to see the collaboration. I feel UNESCO is providing the conditions. Schools are places of people and place and purpose, hopefully, and all of those pillars. And Design for Change's FIDS really becomes the vehicle by which you reclaim happiness in schools. So I feel that it seems to be a natural fit. Clearly, the data suggests that there is improvement. Design for Change's own data, which we've done several years ago, clearly indicates that it makes children feel more empowered. So I think it's a great exercise in a collaboration. And I think with UNESCO's I think amplification, it just becomes that much easier. So I loved the examples. They're such powerful FIDS examples, Design for Change, stories of change, and schools should anyway be doing it. It's not as an experiment or a pilot. I think all schools around the world should be places where happiness and well-being of children becomes the core focus. Because anybody will tell you when a child feels emotionally safe, all learning happens after that. It's not the infrastructure that builds it. It is none of that. And I think if this pilot and these findings can be made more public, and these findings can be kind of taken across, I think it's a winning combination.
Thank you so much, Kiran.
You're muted.
Yes, thank you so much. Sonia, do you want to add something, or not to add, but what do you want to share?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really, really impressed with all the work. So congratulations to the colleagues who undertook this work and worked with the schools. I know how hard that is. So really, congratulations to you. I think that the thought that came to me that I would like to share with you is I'm really impressed at how it's built a community in the schools and how it's really pulled the students together, in particular, the example of supporting the one learner who was having reading difficulties and how the other students, how often do you see that where students actually care for each other? So that was amazing. I like the fact that I saw in some videos, activities like sports and theater and seemed to be theater and things like that. Again, school is not just about academics, it's also about developing the whole person and having a variety of experiences. And the fact that in these videos, I saw also the potential for students to build their leadership skills. And that just goes to show that if it's the Happy Schools framework or if it's something else, something is working. The children looked happy. There was community. They were helping each other. They were taking charge. They were feeling empowered. So I think these are all good things, in particular in a future that is turning out to be more and more challenging. I think we need these types of characteristics in our students. So congratulations to you all. Really very impressive.
Thank you so much, Sonia. And Carmen, from the university aspect, and you are involved in the education university also, so I'm sure you have something to share.
Well, I agree with all that you said, that already said, and maybe I will do a reflection, no, not as a university, but as a teacher, as a mother, and I think a happy school, all the schools must be happy schools always. I think I told this at the beginning of the project that I was very surprised, not surprised, but why we have to improve happiness, well-being at schools, not at there are children. It's very, but we have to do it, so we will do it, no? and we work together for it. So a happy school, I think it must be a place that where the students actively shape this the place, the processes, the principles they have to participate, to collaborate, and to live in this transformation and this with these goals of increase happiness, because as school is a part of a life of our children, of the people, and of teachers, of course. But I am always thinking more on students and as a teacher for a long time. So this is my little reflection about this.
Thank you so much. Sariha, for closing.
Well, what can I say? It's really been amazing to be part of this journey. When we first thought of the idea, we thought, there's a big possibility here that we can demonstrate how the Happy Schools framework could actually be applicable in the context of schools by using the DFC FIDS methodology. And we did it, we showed it, right? Because, FIDS and DFC, they've been doing this amazing work for almost 2 decades. But what's important is taking that work to show that it can scale to other countries as well, and working with UNESCO to complement each other, I think has been quite a great experience to see. What's important, is UNESCO. You're just beginning this journey in a way to build that community, and there is a big possibility to engage with the schools that are already part of the DFC network to also scale this. So as Kiran mentioned earlier about the amplification, I think it's also the other way around. The amplification of the Happy Schools framework through the DFC network can also be very powerful. The other thing I wanted to say is I think it's really great that we're having this conversation and this pilot. But one thing I was reflecting just as I was seeing some of the videos, I think it's very important for us to engage with local leaders, local mayors, and demonstrate to them how important schools are for community engagement. That first video we saw in Spain was very powerful, I thought, of showing how children were working with the elderly and people with different abilities to include them and to co-create projects and opportunities for them. So that's maybe something we can explore also with UNESCO and the role you have in, you also have that city network where you're working with different cities around the world. Is there something we can do there? But the bottom line is, I hope that this pilot project doesn't stop here. There's an opportunity for us to also contribute as a network to the diagnostics toolkit pilot that UNESCO is separately organizing. But we're also planning with UNESCO to write a joint blog about this whole experience and to disseminate that, and eventually to also write a policy paper, because sometimes it's also good to have the policymakers be involved in this so that more funding can be allocated for schools and ministries to enable it. So let's see where this goes. Just wanted to use this opportunity to thank everyone again for being here and for your contributions to the pilot. And I guess onwards and upwards only from here, and more happy schools around the world, hopefully.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right.
Terima kasih.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know we shortened the time a lot, but it was a pleasure to have you. And now you were mentioning, Shariha, the next steps that we can do. So just very quickly, and then we will pass the floor to one last experience with Tim. If you want to participate in the Happy Schools Diagnostics Toolkit, as was presented by Sonia, happyschools.unesco.org. And if we want to be part of this second phase that we are still designing, if you are a school, you can contact the DFC partner in your country. We will share with all of you the presentation and also the report. And if you are a partner that you want to be part of the new steps and you didn't tell us, then send us a message. And well, just to check out, I would like, and thank you so much for allowing us to be a little bit more time. Tim, please, can you join and help us, like as you help us to connect, how to help us to go? just to be brief,
Thank you.
once you will finish, we will take a picture, a groupal picture, okay? But it's like to have with your energy.
Great. So I think for this closing activity, and just want to thank everybody, all the incredible energy, thoughts, what's already been done in the pilot. Really, this last activity, we're just going to do in the chat. And the activity is just to put one intention or aspiration that you have going forward for Happy Schools. And so just take a moment to think about today's webinar, the inspiration you got, all the examples, the models. What is one intention that you have for taking forward Happy Schools in your own practice, in your own community, in whatever way that looks like? So just take a moment, type in the chat, and then you can already start to post it. And that way we'll get some collective inspiration.
Thank you so much. And we have people from Australia. Okay, Tim, I think if you can say something, because we can read, but to take the picture below before more people are leaving the meeting.
Absolutely. So just take some inspiration from all of this. So many different ways that people want to connect, want to bring happiness to more students, to grow more love, empathy, to share, to promote, to continue these collaborations. So that's just a very high level summary. But may we continue to bring these intentions to life. We'll just take a photo now. So happy schools, happy teachers, happy community.
Yes, so please put the camera on, the ones you are already here, so we can see.
Okay.
Oh,
I got
okay.
it. Okay, I got it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Oh, Ralph. No, we have Ralph, so we need another picture.
Yes.
We need another picture, please.
1, 2, 3, smile and happiness.
Well, thank you so much. So as for being here, allowing us to be 15 minutes late. This is, well, sorry for this. It was great. And yes, we will share with all of you the presentation and the report, and as Tim and ask us, no, which is the intention we are going to put, and then from the intention to the action. So thank you so much, and we are in touch.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye. Thank you, Shariha. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, everyone.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Good to see
Thank
everyone.
you, Tim. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.